Art Thibert's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too is a 60-page, 9x12 hardbound book that will be printed on thick glossy stock paper and is a compilation of artwork from award-winning artist, Art Thibert. This book is filled with images that come from Art's Marvel, DC, Image and Comicsgate work. That includes convention doodles, commissions, creator-owned IPs and pop culture subjects that Art has brought to life with his masterful draftsmanship. Art Thibert's signature style is both lyrical and meticulously realized. The mastery of craft, seen in his work, owes itself to his 40 years in the comic industry, as well as viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. Fans of art prints have the opportunity to back one or both of the mini-print tiers. Both are stunning collections of work that you can back individually, or together as a bundle. Art Thibert's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too. Back it now, on Indiegogo.
Hello, all of you beautiful people. My name is Shanthan Jetty, and I am here at the Waffle Lodge. This is Shanthan Jetty Art, and I'm coming to you live, and slightly undead from the heart of Lovecraft Country in the birthplace of American religious liberty. We're going to have some fun tonight. I am dying to talk to you guys, but before I get started, just to talk about art and all the fun things we do, and also to reopen the Waffle Lodge. I gotta mix it up every now and again. I just felt like chatting with you guys tonight. And the thing I have to say is I was putting together the list of trailers for some of the projects that I'm looking forward to and making, those 30-second shorter trailers. And look at the talent. Look at the amazing work we are crowdfunding together. I mean, if you're not proud of the caliber of stuff that we're doing, just forget for a minute, any other sort of qualifiers. The work that I'm looking at in those trailers is beautiful. It's spectacular work. Now, let's take a look at it with some qualifiers. That stuff isn't coming from some major publisher. That stuff isn't coming from, an industry that's got an entire system, which is not a complaint. Those systems have been built. They're able to go through the press. They have all of those other infrastructure elements in place. These are crowd-funded comics by individuals or groups of individuals working together, crowd-funded by you guys. And we're making our own culture. We're making our own stuff. And it is beautiful, dare I say, better than most of the stuff that we're seeing out there. And I'm incredibly excited. And so those trailers, for me, at any rate, are as much about getting me excited for the show as they are about getting you guys excited about the projects. And of course, oh no, I got to talk to my channel members here, but I got to say, someone just came in. Someone's here. It's Timmy Mello saying, "Hail, mad lads and mad gals." Timmy Mello always puts a smile on my face to see you. We have got Mark's music obsession in the house. Mark, it's great to see you. We've got Cranberry Langers here. It is great to see you, brother. I hope you are having a great one. Let's see, where are all my channel members here? Make sure I got you guys here. We've got Simply Green. How are you doing, Simply Green? You're always bringing it, and it's great to see you here in the chat. And let's see. Okay, I've got everybody there. We've got Mr. Monkey Boy 1969 is also here. Citizen Ronan is here. Paulus Arts is here. Let's see, who else have I got here? We've got Emo Trash is here. We've got, let me see. I feel like I missed somebody. Did I miss somebody? I think I got everybody. If I missed somebody, if somebody's fallen down, pick them up. And yeah, let's get everybody going. But I get so excited when I see that stuff. So I just got in the mail today, and it's great because I have a big stack of books here now. But I got in the mail earlier this week. I talked to you guys about it. But I got in the mail the Ghost of the Badlands, and it's a beautiful cover, but it's highly reflective. But Ghost of the Badlands by Razor Fist, it's a beautiful book. I mean, the production quality on this is fantastic, guys. So actually, maybe I'll try holding it up like that. But this is a gigantic book. It's bigger than Nosfero, and it's just a beautiful item. But then I also just got today the preview comic, right here, the preview comic for FEARSOME. And if you guys don't know, I did a Alfred Hitchcock, Psycho, Saul Bass inspired trailer for that. That's the one that I play at the start of the stream. And it's just a beautiful looking book. I'm really excited about the full issue when it comes out. So if you guys missed that, you can still back FEARSOME. The link's in the description. But I've been living in this world of excitement about comics, and it's because of you guys. It's because of all the stuff we're doing here. And hello, Timmy Mello. It's great to see you, my friend. And so as I'm working on all of this stuff, and as I'm seeing... Dean! Oh my gosh, Dean, it's great to see you. Dean, I got your message. And yeah, I'm down for coming on the show. Give me more details. I was just going through my Twitter before, and I saw your message. So yeah, let me know what's up. Just give me the details for it, and we'll figure it out. But it's great to see you, my friend, in addition to that. Sorry, I just saw your picture, and I had a memory of one of the many things. Yeah, we've got all kinds of family excitement going on, so things have been a little nuts here. But it's all good stuff, and a little bit of, little ones are now big ones growing up and all that kind of stuff. So we got all these things we got to take care of for the next phase of their journey. So it's pretty cool. But it's great to see you in the chat, man. So yeah, so I've been thinking a lot about this, and I've been going through all of my stuff. I think I'm starting to realize that I'm done fulfilling Nosfero. I've got a couple of people I want to reach out to because I got some, just one or two packages returned, so I want to just see what's going on with their address. But other than that, it's a tremendous relief. I can start thinking about the next issue, and I can start thinking about all these other things I want to do on the channel. One of those, of course, is bringing back the Waffle Lodge. So if you've never been to the Waffle Lodge before, the Waffle Lodge and the Late Night Waffle Lodge was really the start of what I did on this channel. And what it comes from is when I was growing up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, there was a Waffle Lodge on Brainerd Road in Chattanooga. Feel free to look that up. And that Waffle Lodge is where me and my friends who lived in the area, we'd go hang out there at all hours of the night, drinking terrible coffee and God knows what else. And we'd hang out there, and it was just our place to go and get breakfast 24 hours a day, which I'm still a big fan of. And so when I was thinking about, what I wanted to do, because I was streaming late at night, I thought, I want to make something that's like that. You know what I mean? Something that's fun. And I gotta see. I've got somebody hanging out in here. We're gonna see if I can figure out how to make this work. So let me just see if I can make this work here. Uh oh. It's guest
Hello?
number 2. I can hear you, man. This is gonna be a surreal experience for you.
Can you hear me? Yeah,
I can hear you.
Yeah. Here, hold on a sec.
Okay. But let me do this while you're getting your headphones sorted here. Let me play this, because when you come in here,
Charge!
There we go. That is our little play thing here that we have. There we go. I got to make sure I've got you on both screens. But that's my little intro whenever you come in. But yeah, it's White Shanth, Cranberry Landers. You're right.
Brown and white together at last.
Ebony and ivory. No, okay, it's a little too... it's too soon. It's too soon. Miss Good Stuff, it's great to see you. How are you doing? Yes, I understand. It's late. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. But yes, indeed. So how have you been, brother? It's been a minute.
It's been a long time. You know what I've been doing.
I know what you've been doing, man. I know it.
I'm surrounded by things at the moment. I have things to show off if you want to see them.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Oh yes. What do I show? What can I show first? I have so much to show.
Yeah, man.
I want to show something special for you.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, it's something that you did. So
Uh-oh.
you appreciate it.
Do I need to end the stream? I mean, is it no?
I'm a bit hooked in here with the thing.
Yeah, just take your headphones off. You'll be good. You're seeing two dads streaming.
I'm just gonna have to unplug them for the moment.
All right, that's cool. Let me see if I can do. 1 second here. I'm gonna go to. Where is it, Michael? Okay, that's unlocked. Thank God. Let me see if I can do this. Woohoo! Put you center screen here.
Embiggen me.
I can embiggen you by hand. Oh snap! What in the Sam Hill?
Hang on, let me turn the big light on.
Whoa! People!
There we go. Now you can actually see it.
Oh, that's awesome!
So I had that
Holy
laser.
cow, dude!
I wish it didn't cost like $1 million to send posters around.
Oh, dude, your fly's down. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. That was terrible.
Because it always is.
Oh my God. Nah, that's why I don't wear pants. All right, so dude, that looks awesome.
Cool, huh?
Yeah, man. Dude, that's such a beautiful image, man. Yep.
We're
Everybody's
building
loving
up.
it in the chat. You know I love that one, man. Wow, that looks gorgeous. Good job, Bancroft, says Cranberry Langers. That came out great, says Citizen Ronan. Let's see. Good day, Ronan. That's huge, says Comics Mate Dean. And yes, indeedy.
Are you ready for the pièce de résistance?
I am ready. Am I gonna pass out? Is it... Oh, snap! Oh, wow, dude. That is nuts.
Hang on.
Yep. You absolutely... Dude, your color checking on that stuff is amazing.
It looks so good. And it
Dude.
even looks much better.
Oh
So
my
I
gosh,
I
man.
actually sold one of these on Indiegogo, so this is going out to someone.
Oh my
I got
God.
a personal copy for myself.
I was about to say, I hope you have a personal copy for
Yeah, these
you.
are all my personal copies.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, there's a little bit of you, in the other figure there. That's I got a little bit of Bancroft into that portrait, so that was the fun part of it. That's what makes it great, man. That is sick, dude.
Keep me embiggened because.
Okay, I will.
What do I show first? How about?
Oh, dude,
this?
you got That is what I'm talking about, dude. What in the Sam Hill? Oh, Bancroft is a little
check
quiet.
this
How do I
out.
boost him? Maybe boost your gain a little bit. I don't know if I'm doing, because I have the interview thing up pretty high, but see if this. Can you let me know if you guys can
talk?
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Yeah.
All right, put it closer.
The spot gloss came out great, says Dean. Oh, dude, that looks so good, man. We have been on such a freaking journey, dude. My man Stephen Rockwood is here. Hail, Stephen Rockwood. Dude, sick.
The spot
Dude,
gloss,
this is great.
It looks amazing. It feels amazing.
Yep.
Remember coloring that on stream. Look, I even got the
Oh, dude, spot varnish, man.
on the back.
Yep.
It's,
Dude. It's a
look
book.
how big it is.
Yes, dude. Yes.
100 pages.
I'm going to say this right now. Cranberry Landry says, congratulations, Bancroft. Guys, this book is still available. All this stuff is still available. So if you have not got it, the link is in the description. And yes, Mark's Music Obsession. This is my brother. It was our mom. We share a mom named Linda. And because, I have a thing for this Australian woman named Linda. It's complicated. She had a very... Listen... Just because you got in trouble with Mel doesn't mean you can't blame my degeneracy for it.
Mark has been in my chat a little bit of late, so now I know the backstory. I'll know
how
to act accordingly.
That's right, man.
Now, the soft cover is amazing. I love the UV spot and everything.
It's beautiful.
There's just something about an oversized
listen,
cover.
We are going to drag as many people as we can, kicking and screaming into Bond Dessinée scale. If it takes everything we got, man. I mean, dude, you and Razor Fist are the first two people to have a book with my pinup in the back. You do know that, right? Like, it's just awesome.
It's such a reading experience. It
is. Can you do me a favor, though? Because it's a little bit tricky for them to see. Can you hold up on, just lay it on top of the cover, the soft cover with that one, just so people can get a sense of the scale? Because it's hard to kind of see. Guys, that makes all the difference. So that's standard comic book size, right?
Yeah, so that's standard.
That's standard.
This one is A4, so a lot of Bond Dessinée are made this size, but there is also a wider format Bond Dessinée, which was prohibitively expensive. So I just did this one, which is still... I can ship this in the same mailer. So let me actually...
40% Zed goes, Bancroft, you're blocking the cat. You know what's so fun about this? We've both been working like psychopaths as of late. Guys, smash the like, by the way, if you have not, please, and thank you. But this is the crazy thing. This journey of insanity that we've been on, it's so great when you get to these inflection points, man. You know? Like, where it's just like, Let's
see if this works.
Oh, dude. No, that works perfect. Do you guys see the scale difference we're talking about on this? I mean, we have so many exceptional artists in Comicsgate, and this scale, there's two schools of thought, right? There's two different schools of thought, and I think that Hergé and Tintin and Bond Dessinée have a totally different idea, which is there's manga are the comics that are smaller, that you can pop in your back pocket. The Bond Dessinée are immersive. They're meant to be opened on your bedroom floor and looked at. You know what I mean? And just like, you could sit there with a friend and go, oh, look at this, because they're big enough for it.
And you can lay it flat.
Yes! You can lay it perfectly flat. They're awesome.
And check this out.
I just realized I need to put you in the Waffle Lodge instead of on the thing. Oh, dude. Whoa. No, too fast. Go back. Those are great blues. Whew.
But I also got cool end papers. I've never really seen anyone
I bet you do.
Where, open it up. Actually, let me show. It's a nice... I made it like a nice maroon sort of brown. To match
nice, dude.
Same color.
Almost has like a leather-bound kind of quality to it.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that. Anyway.
It's nice. Oh, my stars.
On the front.
That is
that's
perfect...
Like, that's the end paper.
Yeah.
And then you get in there.
Guys, are you excited to go and back this book if you have not yet? I mean, come on, guys. This is it right here. Michael Bancroft, I will be making another visit to your merch list. I see things I need, says Mark's Music Obsession. My man.
Do. Look at that.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah.
And I've still got another hardcover that needs to be delivered. That should happen in the next week or so. Oh, I've got the actual... This is the proof of the cover.
Let me see. I love it. Very pleased I backed the hardcover, says Stephen Rockwood Drawing.
So worth it. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it. It's just worth it. So yeah, we have fulfillment fun coming up this month.
It's so great to see such an easy overnight success story like this one, Michael. remember those jokes we were having? Like, it's like when you come into this space, when you come into Comicsgate, when you are creating this work, you've got an empty bookshelf in front of you and you're building a library. You're building your library of work. And it's so much nicer. I've crowdfunded 3 books now, and I really think, with the 2 art books and Nosfero, when I see those together, I'm like, oh, these are things I can put out there now. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's crazy. Yeah, they exist, and people can get them, and I always laugh when I think about, the first time we met, and I think about the first time I met anybody in Comicsgate. I always come back around to that idea of, you didn't have any idea, like, who I was, or, we didn't know each other at all. It's like, is he gonna make this book? It's absolutely crazy, man. Oh, it's too funny. And then you had me do a painting that almost killed me. It's kind of neat.
I keep looking at it and your other stuff, and you put so much extra little. Not little. I mean, it was.
No, but
just so much more into that thing. Actually, both the Razor Fist and mine as well. And I need to thank you actually. I was just checking out Twitter the other day, and I saw Razor Fist is following me, and I'm guessing that's probably your influence.
Yep.
I'm gonna guess
it
that.
is. Yeah.
So
I'd like to. One of the things I want
that.
My friends to meet each other, man, and it's like, and it's what's cool about it is that I didn't know that you had been watching Razor Fist for a long time, and I've been watching him, so I reached out to him about the books and everything like that, and we just started chatting. I mean, that's the crazy thing about this stuff. And so, of course, when I'm sharing, this is what's on my desk, it's like, here's the painting I'm doing for you, here's the painting I'm doing for him, and it's like, oh, cool, it's like, and then it's like, it's great to hear that you guys are meeting. And that book, holy cow, I was just showing it before.
I still have to get that one. I really want to get it off Amazon. Look at it. This
is the oversized. I guess this is the oversized one I backed on Indiegogo. But much like with yours, so you've got, where the heck did I put that? You've got the 8.5 by 11, right? So Nosfero is, Nosfero's 8.5 by 11, and then you've got the comic over it. So this is Nosfero on top of Razor Fist's book. So that's how much larger.
Your one's big.
Mine's 8.5 by 11. This one is bigger than that. So it's enormous. Actually, I don't know what the size of it is, because this was the. Let me just see if do I have a ruler here? Oh, here it is. So this one is, and maybe this is the same size you were showing for Bande Dessinée. This is 9 1/4 by 12 1/4. So I don't know what that size is in centimeters, but
yeah, I don't know what mine is in inches either. I guess I could probably measure it. Mark, I have those posters were on the Indiegogo. I haven't put them up on the website yet. I've got to figure out how to ship them because I've already got existing posters up. You have to get so much stuff to ship posters because if you want them to arrive in immaculate condition, there's a lot that goes into it. So
yes,
let me look into that, and I can absolutely add them to my main store and get them out to you. I don't even know what's an inch.
Oh gosh, dude, it's such a nightmare. Centimeters and inch conversion is a pain. It's like it's one of those damn decimal point situations.
Cranberry says, ship them in packages. All right, I'll start there. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Do that, yeah. Don't just send them out in the ocean. Hope it works out. Those posters are beautiful. For people who don't know, Mike has a extensive history in print and in checking color on things, and so
it's part of my job.
And as you know, in this world we live in this crisis of competency, just because it's your job doesn't mean you're great at it. It's your job and you're great at it. You know what I mean? You know that old story. What do they call the kid who graduates at the bottom of his medical school class and gets all the worst grades?
All right, let me clarify.
Doctor.
It's my job, and I've been doing it for about 24 years.
And you've been doing it well. that's part.
So this is 8 1/3 by a bit over 11 1/2. Whatever.
Wow.
That is, so.
Yeah.
It's big book.
So it's slightly smaller, I guess, than what Razorfist printed, but that is a...
Yeah.
I've got... You know what? I want to ask him about that, and you can probably message him about it.
Like?
What?
I could. I have the access now.
Yeah. Just say I'm White Shanth, and I'm sure it won't be awkward at all.
I'm Shanth with the exposure on the camera turned right up high.
Okay.
And then he'll say, "Oh, okay, I see what's going on here." Yeah. So this is the. Let me pull this aside. This is bande dessinée. It's Gilgamesh.
That's the one, man.
Most BDs are printed at that scale, at that size. So this is that compared to that. It's.
So I bet you he printed it at that standard.
He did it at that size, yeah.
You know he loves
that. Which is
that.
crazy, because I quoted that.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think, double in cost, just to have that much extra.
Yep.
Double. So like,
and he printed his in the States, and I've been meaning to reach out to him to ask him where he printed it, because it's beautiful. The production job on at least the Indiegogo version that I got is fantastic, and this is the other thing about it. So this book, right? It is first of all, it's beautiful, but I was so, and I think you will be too. I was so impressed. Let me see if I can do this here by. Boy, this is fun stuff. There we go. I was so impressed by the backgrounds in this book. Like, this feels very European to me. And I know he loves bande dessinée, so it's not shocking, but I mean...
Yeah, when you do these books, you've got to... Because their print's so big, you can't really slack on the...
You can't.
You can't just fill pages with nothing, because it gets pronounced. So these books are great for lots of detail, rendering and stuff like that. Effects. Yeah, I really want to read this book, and I've heard great things. I want to start doing more shorts about
Hail Andrew.
All these good books. So
yeah, man.
I would definitely want to do.
This is from production to, and I've read both of Razorfist's sort of pulp novels, and so I know he knows how to spin a yarn, but I was really curious to see how he was going to what the mixture was going to be of him working with another artist, you know what I mean, and working with somebody. This is, you can always tell when you open a comic. It's the same thing I said to you about the Lucent. I mean, I didn't buy it on story. I bought it on, it did the comic thing well. You can just look at it. It's not just art, right? It's comic art. And I could tell from the color theory it was going to be like a great book, a complete vision. And this, I would say, has the same thing for me. It feels like a complete vision. I could walk into Paris, I could put this in a bande dessinée or comic shop, and it would fit right in. And that's, I mean, I can't say it any fairer than that.
I like the, it looks like the way he's laid it out as well. It's very European, just...
Yes!
This is the way I lay it out. You start with 3 panels horizontally, and then you can slice them up. You can move one down. You can lose one.
Look at this.
That's how you panel. Yeah,
I mean, just really fun stuff. And so
limited color palette too.
Yeah, man. Red green here is beautiful. Just really gorgeous work here.
How long is that book? How many pages?
This is a tome. This is truly a bande dessinée. I don't want to show I don't want to accidentally show the last page or something. But let me. I don't know if are there page numbers on it? Oh, I don't know if there's page numbers on it. But it's a lot, is what I would say. And he's got a layout page section in the back, which is really cool to see. I think this is just for the deluxe version, if I'm not mistaken. And I could be wrong, though. And where is it? Just don't want to spoil anything here. Wow, does he have like every layout page from the book in here? My God. Yeah, this book is thorough. Let me tell you, it is a very. It's got everything. Okay, let me see if I can find. Oh yeah, so right here in the back is where he's got the pinups. And so I think this is the cover artist, if I'm not mistaken. And then this is the one I did for him. So this is in the back, one of 3 pinups in the back. And this and the Lucent one, man, these were, and the Beckoned one as well, too, I should say. Those were moments in my work that things changed, you know? And it was the same when I did the Visions piece for John Malin of Lascivia, that 2-page spread. That was a huge jump. But I just think we're all doing some of the coolest looking stuff. What's up, channel member Spaceman? It's great to see you, my friend. So Painted Death, soft and hardcover versions of artwork are different. It's the size only. The artwork on the cover is different, right, Michael?
Well,
actually. Uh-oh.
I'm a weirdo. I started in webtoons, so I've always worked in panels. You know, I work in panels, and then I'm also a graphic designer by trade, so I work in desktop publishing. So I just take the panels and arrange them on the page. But the American size comic is thinner than the hardcover. So, you know, you can't just scale it up. You're going to get a big ugly margin on it. So it's the same artwork, but you actually, in some panels you get more artwork, and in other panels you get slightly less. But it's the same art, it's the same story. It's you might just see, I don't know, a little bit more over to the side or something because it's wider.
This is my copy of the poster that I own. It's and then I've got. There? Oh wait, I might be. I don't know. Let me see if I'm.
It was too much.
Yeah, it was too much. Yeah. For the and then right next to it at all times on my desk is this right here. So I've got these 2 paintings are just sitting right next to me at all times, riding shotgun. Let me just see if I can move that back there. Oh, you're moving now. You seem good on my end. I don't know if it's the Ecamm's a little bit crazy because it streams in 1080, so you come through my computer and out. But yeah, you're moving on my end, so hopefully you're moving okay there. Can you hear me? I'll check. Let me just double check.
I can't hear anything. Hold on a sec.
Oh, you appear to be moving, so. Let me see. Uh-oh, he's leaving and coming back in. So, if you guys haven't hit the like yet, please feel free to hit that like, guys. We are having a hangout here at the Waffle Lodge. Oh, there he is. There he is. And there he is. All right.
We're back.
Yep. So, so you were saying that because the book, you lay out things and then you put them on the page, that there's slight compositional differences, right?
Yeah, just sort of more like you might see more of the panel. You just had to fit it in a slightly different format. So, it's nothing major. It's not like there's Easter eggs or anything, but it's just like, it's slightly different, but pretty much exactly the same. Man, it's the night of boomers. It's always a night of boomers when I'm around.
Dude, I'm the same way, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's crazy because, you're getting to the end of this, marathon. And we've been kind of at different stages of the marathon since we've known each other. It's weird. What have you got there?
My gold pen.
Oh, sign-in time.
I'm finishing off sketch covers. I did all the faces first, and now I'm doing the hair.
Ooh, so. Look at you go. There we go. That's a little easier. There we are. It's not too tough. We're still in the lodge. So how many of you got assigned? All of them? How is the lodge? The lodge is going great. I'm bringing it back.
Yeah, but do you have to do a lot? Do you have to clean out the rats or anything?
Oh, dude.
When you reopened it.
Well, funny enough, gold member. That's right. Any tips? Any tips for physical health when fulfilling for Bancroft, Sean? Yeah, the tips are simple. Have Bancroft do your Australian orders, but I don't think that helps him. But no. Funny enough, I said I felt like doing a Waffle Lodge stream tonight just to hang out and chat with people because sometimes I just need to mix it up and talk about stuff. And so I did the normal healthy thing, which I realized I haven't done it in so long. I needed to rebuild the whole show, videos and intros from scratch. Because that's what we do here. Yep.
That's why I don't take a break, because I feel like if I take too long of a break, I'm just going to, I'm never going to, it's going to be so much harder to get back on the horse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it is. And we just, you know what it is? It's the, and I was talking to my brother Rocky, who I don't know if you've watched any of his streams, but terrific guy and amazing artist. And I was telling him, I was, amen. I used to go to Waffle House in Chattanooga on Brainerd Road, man. That is what this is about. My love of Waffle House.
Your love of waffles.
My love of waffles. But I was talking to him and I go, and even Lauren was talking about that. I was hitting the streaming thing so hard when I started, doing it. Like I wasn't, day and nights got switched. Everything was nuts. And I finally, and you were the only person who was around when I was streaming because of the time difference, Yeah. It was so funny.
Yeah, I see people, look, it's exciting, Yeah. If you've never streamed before and you get into it and you have a rapport with the chat, you find cool people online, it's addictive, and you see people doing it. Yeah. For hours and hours and hours and hours on end. And I was one of them. I absolutely did that. And but it's at some point I'm like, oh, you just gotta pace yourself, because that is important. It's an important part of all this. Yeah. If no one knows what you're doing, then it's gonna be heartbreaking. But you've also got to balance it with life and your work. And if you're like me, I don't know, I did a stream earlier, a flatting stream. Yeah. I got about, in 2 hours, it was actually 2.5 hours, I think I probably got about a good 15 minutes of flatting done. Yeah.
That's, so, yeah. Oh, man. That's the crazy part of this stuff, right? It's, I paint when I do my streams, right? Obviously you know this. And sometimes I don't feel like painting a job on stream. And so, you know what I mean? Like I need to just be zeroed in. And the cool thing about it is that I love painting on stream, but there's two things I got to get psyched up for at the same time. You know what I mean? Like I just have to go.
I know how you do it, because you've explained to me how you do it, but I still don't know how you do it.
Yeah, we still are having frightening conversations about the introspection voice in this household, Michael. It's terrifying. Like, oh God, it's so scary.
Did I tell you that I think my son is like you, Clark?
Yeah. It's my daughter is like that too. Like people look at us and go, "So what are you thinking right now?" And it's just like
you ask. when you ask Clark that question, he's like,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't even compute. What do you mean? What am I thinking? I'm doing this.
And
Okay.
the creepiest thing about it too, which I've realized at least with my daughter and I, is that how do I put it? That my daughter's dance teacher did an experiment with her that I thought was, and absolutely, guys, yeah, we are serving up waffles. Had waffles with crumbled bacon and batter, butter, and syrup. Oh my gosh, yes, as good as it sounds, you know it's good. The thing for me is that she has a dance teacher, and she was doing a ballet routine, and they changed the entire dance choreography. And she was shocked because she showed it to her once, and she was able to dance it back from seeing it once. And she couldn't understand how she was able to do that. So then she said, okay, now can you dance back for me the one that we were used to do? And she did that one. She held them both in her head. And that's how we do things. You know, it's like back when I was in that barbershop in Skokie, Illinois. Yeah, it's that. Those are the stories. You know, it's very strange. Very, very strange.
I have something to alert you to that I just became aware of myself.
Uh-oh.
My wife, Mel,
Uh-oh.
has never seen The Usual Suspects.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm like...
That limits jokes.
Be kidding me. It limits everything. It's like, so I've been saying all these things all these years, and you just think that's me? And it happens quite a bit, actually, when we'll watch a movie, and she's like, oh, I thought you just say that. I'm like, no. Everything I say is from a movie. Understand?
Yeah.
I say nothing original.
Yeah, my wife said that to me. She was really upset when she found out my entire personality were just quotes from Billy Madison. You know? She started
that is a
sobbing.
quotable movie.
Yep. That's right. I mean, she's like, do you mean every time you said, what are you looking at, Swan? Like, what are you...
Same with Happy Gilmore for me. That's your home. Are you too good for your home?
So yeah, basically, how annoying would it be for our wives if we were in the same place?
We could just be like quoting movies. We could quote movies into the entire night and just have conversations, you know?
That's what I told her. I said all male conversations are essentially just reciting movie quotes to each other, and then we feel we've had a productive evening. It's nuts, man. It's like
we were doing it in the stream. We were doing it with Simpsons quotes.
Yep, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
The price is wrong.
Yeah, the price is wrong, Bob. Oh my God, yeah, it's good stuff, man. But it's cool because how are you feeling? Like, because the first book and all of the stuff you were doing on the Lucent, this is production wise. You know, to quote Anchorman, it jumped up a notch. Yeah, you know.
I'm feeling good. I remember Von Klaus talking to me about this because I said, you know, when you put a creative piece of work out there, it's a bit like jumping off a cliff. And you don't know until you hit the bottom whether you've landed in the water or on the rocks. And he said, I see what you're saying there, but actually I'm going to disagree because I think you do know. And I think he's right. Like, I still do think, you know, there are unexpected things that do come up, but people liked the first one. Yeah, they really liked it, and they liked talking about it. We were looking for a review earlier, and there were tons. Like, there's tons of videos out there of people talking about the first book. And if you liked the first book, then this is everything that was good about the first book times 3 or 4 or 5. So there's more of it, and there's better stuff in it, and the art's better, and everything's bigger and better. So I'm not really worried like I was the first time, because as well, especially in CG, where a lot of the focus has been so like kind of like 90s style sort of stuff. I just didn't know how my book would be received. But you know, received fairly well. So
I think that's the thing
good
to drive home, right? It's the with the first book, you like. Thank God I had those 2 art books, because my attitude was about like when I was doing this stuff is like, okay, I know how to paint. This is going to be a lot more complicated painting. This is going to be nuts. Little did I know I had the piece I did for you waiting for me, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I remember thinking to myself that there's just this thing as an independent creator, you've got to know, like, you've got to understand you're taking that leap, but you have to understand it needs to get done. You know what I mean? Like, you're your editor and your creator. So sometimes you go, no, to make this better, this is going to take a little bit longer, but it's not indefinite. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm like, I got to add a double page spread here because it needs it, you know, for me artistically and how it comes together. And I think that there's an aspect to what we do, that the discipline component, being creative and really disciplined at the same time, is the biggest aspect of it. You know, it's you can't, I don't know how to describe it, but it's, because someone was talking to me about it, and I talk about this a lot, when people go, is it fun for you to do it? And I always think, because I could think about that all day, I have to do it. So that never came into the equation to me. Like, making comics is bizarre.
It's not like a thing where you wake up and go, will I work on my book today?
Yeah.
It's not that. It's
no.
like, all right, what part of my book am I working on today?
Yeah.
And you know, people say like, oh, if it doesn't go well, what are you going to do? Like, it just never, it's never part of my mind that I'm just going to like not do it. So yeah, that's totally a thing. And I think people who don't have that feeling, whether it's either passion or belief in themselves or their project or whatever, they find that weird. But really, I think that's pretty common among a lot of creators, that are just like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, and I just have to get it done. So you know what's enjoyable? Walking past the table and seeing the book on the table, seeing it, and it's real, and I'm like, man, that looks great. Like, that's great. That's a great feeling.
It does.
That was actually,
we look weird on camera right now. There's something weird. Hang on. Let me. There we go. That's a little. I felt a little uncomfortable.
I need a pair of glasses. I need a pair of glasses.
Well, don't give yourself time.
We'll be indistinguishable.
We'll be there.
Are you brothers?
That'd be scary. Yeah, that's right. Oh my god. But no, it's a strange thing, because you're right. I look over at, there was no foundation for this thing. Like, you had your webtoons, right, comics, right? And you knew printing, you knew all of that stuff. But, you know, I remember you saying something to me that I think about all the time, because I thought the exact same thing about it, which is our people our age have watched opportunities, like, we were too young for that opportunity, too old for that opportunity, like, too much for this. And we're at this point in our lives where, when we saw Comicsgate, it was an incredible opportunity, and we had to just jump on it, you know. And there were no guarantees, you know. Like, I didn't know anybody in Comicsgate when I got in here. I knew nobody. Like, it was just like, and we didn't even know, how do I put it? You didn't even know I was Comicsgate. You know what I mean? Or how long I'd been around. We were on opposite ends, you know.
And that was when it was a bit of a weird subject, because there was a lot of heat around it. You know, most people don't care these days. Like, you know, it just doesn't have to come up. Whereas back then it was like, it could be a big deal. So I wouldn't ask or anything. I wouldn't bring it up. And that never hurt me. Like, no one ever said, I can't believe you brought me on and you were CG. And that never happened. Yeah. But I was just like, and then I found out very shortly before bringing you on that you were friendly. That's all I knew. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, you know, and so I think I even made the stream, like, you know, diving into the CG waters or something like that.
Yes, you did. Yeah, which was hilarious.
And then you were like, no, I do videos for Ethan. I'm like, what?
Yep.
What are you talking about? That was funny.
Well, that was great because Joe knew all of this stuff, but this is the crazy thing about it, right? Is that and don't go back and watch that stream, by the way.
Why? Are we embarrassing?
It's just so hilarious to watch this because we look so much younger, and in terms of our attitudes, like because we were a lot of things that we're doing now.
Us of our decrepitude.
Well, actually, I think other people should go back and watch those streams. I'm like people nervous about getting started. It's
oh yeah. Go back and watch my first stream. You know when you turn on the stream and there's no one in the chat and you realize you're just talking to yourself, but it's a live stream. So you're like, all right, let's do it. But amazingly, every single person who was the first, I think 5 people in my chat that day I went live for the first time are still around.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And that was 2019, I think. 20,
I was thinking at the time, and I still think about this. None of us are actually here, all bots. Citizen Ronan, you're right. Did you still have hope in your eyes back then? Yeah. You know what's so funny is that's one thing that's definitely not changed about either of us.
Having hope in our eyes?
Just our excitement about making comics and Comicsgate. Like, I think you don't seem diminished when you're showing those books and posters. You're like, look at this!
I love it. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the best part. If you can't have fun during the best part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've got the art edition coming up. I was showing off your new cover the other day on the art share.
Oh hell yeah, it's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah, because like you can get caught up in all the drama and interpersonal politics and everything, and the fighting and the wars but to me that stuff just drags me down creatively. And if I'm gonna be spending energy, I want to be putting it into my story or my art or whatever. So I think both of us have a similar mind on that, so that's why we've been able to just sort of stay focused. And
here this thing for me, and I think I was talking to somebody about this. I don't know what stream I was talking to somebody about this on, but I love to see what other CG creators are doing. I love to check out their work. I love to see all of that stuff. But when it comes to what I do in terms of, Lloyd Burton, channel member Rockstar, it is great to see you, man. Oh, so great. Hope is the glue that keeps creative people moving. Hail Lloyd Burton, you legend. But I think for me, I was watching this channel called the Y Files. I've talked about it a few times. And this channel is like sort of like it's not a conspiracy theory channel. It's like a channel that explores and tries to debunk things, but it's also interested in them too, like crop circles and things like that. This guy runs a really professional show. He works crazy hours, but it's a tight show, and you can tell he's into what he's talking about. He's not trying to hit these particular things. And I think he's got something like 3.8 million subscribers for 100 and maybe 200 something videos, maybe, or 100 and something.
Wow.
But he's been doing a weekly 45-minute or 30-minute well-produced show. Yeah, I did, Timmy Mello. I did say crop circles. And then you look at folks like the Grim Life Collective, who've done over 1,000 videos. And those guys are, I don't know if they're 3 million subscribers, but they are a really big channel. And I look to those kinds of things, and I'm always thinking, what can I do where I am taking the same approach they're taking, but for myself, like what's the stuff I like? Because I don't want to chase. I love monsters, I love horror, I love fantasy, I love comics, I love art, and I love being positive. Those kinds of things. And that's what I want to spend my time doing, is being enthusiastic about the things I love and being around people. And it's just, I get inspiration from other people's success and other people pursuing what they love. And we've both been doing that now for a very long time.
Yeah, I was actually saying this in the chat the other day that I'm looking at guys like Razor Fist, because he just does whatever the hell he wants. What he's into. He talks. The videos are just whatever he's into at the moment. Yep. He writes his books. He makes his comic, and and that's it. I don't really see him wasting too much time, getting into beefs or anything like that. Yep. And I say like, yeah, that's what I want to be, because I just want to talk about what I want to talk about. And you're exactly right. Like, to me, I want to talk about awesome new stories that people are writing that are so good and no one knows about them because they're indie, and then inspirational art that's just like, wow, this is so fresh and new. And people like art these days. A lot of the mainstream art, whatever, it's very manufactured, and I'm talking about what they use in big production stuff, but that's not everything that's going on out there. So yeah, that's what I'm interested in, and that's what I plan on focusing on going forward. And hopefully if people are as well, then they'll want to check out what I'm doing.
And got a comment in the chat, Shelf, how do I get a copy of your book? So the Second Chance campaign for this is going to be launching on Indiegogo August 20th. I cannot believe it. There'll be an art edition and a second printing.
Close.
It's 3 seconds away. It's tomorrow. And so my weekend before that is the 19th is my wedding anniversary. And but I won't be home. I'll be flying home that day from dropping off my son at college. That's what's preceding.
So pretty laid back week for you then.
A laid back week, but the 20th is H.P. Lovecraft's birthday, so I'm a big one for trying to get things to line up if I can. So
Kismet,
it's just the way it is. Yeah, the thing about all this stuff about with the art is that when I see like the cool stuff, like I just get so excited about what everybody is doing and what everybody is. I'll never be happy again. I want a reader copy. Don't worry, there will be a reader copy. Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time to get that campaign launched. But I was looking at I'm trying to think of some of the creators I've been looking at, but it's very broad. Like there's this YouTube channel where a guy does his own book binding, and I could watch that all day. There's the Grim Life Collective, the Y-Files. They've done. Thank you so much, Cranberry Landers. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm very proud of him. He's a good dude. And it's wild when you have twins, because they go off the same weekend apparently, but also the same year. And it's also yeah, you're right. The greatest and most stressful part of parenting is sending the new generation out of the nest. Yep, it sure is, Timmy Mello.
Not there yet, thankfully.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's the job, right? That's the whole point of it. And it's the same thing with these books. I get it. I get why people don't make artwork. I get why people don't put artwork out there for consumption, or why they can't finish the project, because when you put something out there and you say something or you try to create something, it's done, and that's a very frustrating thing. It's like I would always tell some of my guy friends when we were in college. They go, how are you in a relationship? Like, how do I get into a relationship? And I go, oh, well, I ask girls out, and some say no, and eventually somebody says yes. What I don't do is hang around them, say, hey, do you want to go get some coffee, and stay in some vague friend zone, because I haven't got time for that. I was like, I'm looking for someone who's interested in me. And if you're not, I have more in common with guys. Like, are we going to talk comics? Are we going to talk like I'm looking for a relationship? And it was kind of hilarious to me, because it's the same thing. I don't know how much time anybody has. You're going to want to do the artwork that is meaningful to you. And that was the wild. You want to talk about kismet and the way things line up. I was interested in, and I was listening to Jordan Peterson because I was working in academia, and he was dealing with what I was seeing in academia and what I was dealing with. Mm-hmm. So I also was really like disgusted by what was going on with Star Wars. So I was watching Ethan, and then all of a sudden I turn on Ethan's show, and apparently he had Jordan Peterson hostage, as he says. Jordan Peterson goes, "You're watching Comic Artist Pro Secrets. And that's not good." No, he said...
That's not good.
Yeah, and that's...
I can't do a good Kermit, so...
Yeah, and you know what, a lot of people, look at me and they say, "Hey," and I say, "Well, shut up, you hoser." I like when he gets angry. Like when he gets pissed off, he's like, "Why don't you blow it out?" And you're like, "Whoa, easy, Jordan." But it was... It's not good. And so Ethan's doing the... did the interiors for that. And I only knew him as a Star Wars fan, which was such a strange thing, because...
You didn't even know he did comics?
No, I mean, I knew he did because it was called Comic Artist Pro Secrets.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And, but I didn't read DC comics, but I also got out of mainstream comics around the time of Image, and that would have been when he had his big run. So I know I saw CyberFrog. I do know that. Like, I remember the ads for CyberFrog and Wizard. And I know I saw him, if I picked up some of the later issues, I'm pretty sure I saw him on the Wizard, top artists, for sure. But I came to his work fresh with CyberFrog, and I think, just personally for me, I think it's his best work. Because I think he was almost like Todd working on Spider-Man and then coming back to Spawn. Ethan working on Green Lantern brought something like, he created obviously the Green Lantern, emotional, spectrum of rings and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like that sci-fi and more adult themed storytelling came into CyberFrog. So you've still got some of the quirkier aspects of CyberFrog from the 90s, but it's a much more mature book. You know what I mean? It's a much more, and so it kind of just hits me better, like where it is right now. So that was cool. Like my first Ethan Van Sciver comic was CyberFrog Blood Honey. My first.
Me too. Because, I never read any DC, so I didn't know who he was either. I just knew him as the soft-spoken.
Yes, back in the day, right?
Soft-spoken. This is how you get supplies for the for the comic and everything. I found him through Zach. Zach kept talking about him.
Yeah, it's crazy because your boy Zach I got to through Ethan. So I came at it
the opposite.
Yeah, that's why when we met it was like the bridging of two different sections. Yeah, he did. I was telling somebody about Ethan who was I talking to? I think I was talking to my brother Nick, who is one of my friends who lives nearby me here, and I've known him for God knows how many years. And I go, I don't think people grasp the mark that he left on Green Lantern and DC Comics, Flash as well, but it's a huge footprint on that world, and the amount of creators who, Todd, even though he didn't invent the webbing, he made his Spider-Man as his Spider-Man. Like, it
Well,
anyway.
He kind of invented the spaghetti webbing, so...
Well, he got it first, I think it was Michael Golden, and somebody else did it in a pinup or two, and then he took it to the next level, but he did the crazy wrapping around him excessively stuff. That was what he kind of brought to it.
Did Golden work on Spider-Man, though, or did he just do Spider-Man?
He did one double-page spread where he did that webbing, and then someone else did too. The chat probably knows. And but the thing that's crazy is being able to take those characters. Timmy Mello says, Ethan and Jeff Johns were behind the Lantern. Got my glasses. Lantern Spectrum and Flash Rebirth Atrocitus from Injustice 2 is Ethan's creation, and Destro the Cat is Shane Davis's. So these contributions were enormous. So even if I didn't know who he was, I was seeing, if I went to a comic shop or convention, I was seeing his work all around me. That's how funny, when you're meant to meet people, you're just meant to meet them. Like you go, when you said to me, much different level, of course. But when you go, wait, you do the intros for Ethan? Like you do the Trump, video? And I was like, yeah. But you and I were coming at things from other directions, and I think what's kind of crazy, and what you guys in the chat are a part of, what you guys are really a part of, is the fact that there's very few mainstream people who come into the independent space and create characters that connect with an audience and are able to, because it's a very difficult thing to start from the blank page and make something new. It's not the same skill, and he happens to have both, which is, and Dale Keown also with Pitt and the world he created, that's very rare. And then of course so many creators in Comicsgate, of course. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like, Nosfero would not exist if it wasn't for this, and you guys know this odd coming together of creators from all over the world, as you're seeing right now. It's nuts. Timmy Mello is saying Ethan also helped create X-23, though he's not credited for those who saw the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Oh, that's annoying.
Well, that's because it was a
derivative off of, yeah.
It was just an idea that he had brought to.
Yeah.
Who was it? Jeff? I don't know who he brought. He brought it to someone, and they were like, "Yeah, we really like that idea, and we want to run with it," but it just never ended up happening.
Yeah.
And then he saw it later as a.
That's
like
how
a
they do it.
They sort of they called it something else.
Yeah, because it was. I think it was. Wasn't it X-20 or X-32?
He wanted to make it be sex backwards.
Sex backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. And yeah, guys, this is the craziest thing. Yeah, one of the bigger comic storylines of my life, guys. I can't overstate this. You know, people talk a lot about. This is a very strange year we're in. We're in a year of just around the world, but pop culture wise, it's like the late 70s about to roll into the 80s. I've been saying this over and over again, guys.
God, I hope so.
Jump on. Oh, I'm convinced, dude. Jump on these things you're seeing right now. Jump on the Lucent 2 Painted Death. Jump on Nosfero the Crypt Walker. These are the books that are the part of a revolution that's happening in independent industry. This is crazy. This is like an artistic moment that was happening, almost like the black and white boom with, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out and people are like, what is this 8.5 by 11 book? You know, a few $1 billion later, everybody knows what it is, but no one was paying attention when the Rocketeer, except for you guys, the hardcore comic reading fans, the hardcore fans of interesting, cool comics. And now it's enormous. You know, that's where the stuff starts. And so, yeah, guys, I think it's going to be a big year for backing quality stuff. Yep. Viva la revolution. Yep. 100%. Yep. And, like, when I was playing those intros, I mean, the Lucent is a weird... I think I can almost stop there. But the Lucent is
Lucent is confusing and weird.
No, I think it's actually... I feel like I should be sitting in a red chair right now. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Lucent is. Yeah. You have to see it. But I would tell you this. Anybody, when you were showing those posters before, it made me think of a line from one of the police officers in the movie Heat. And he's one of the... God, I forget his character's name. I think his is like Sergeant, and I think it's like... Is it Drucker or something like that? And he goes up to the Val Kilmer's wife's character, I think played by Ashley Judd, and he goes, she's like, so what are you selling? And he goes, all kinds of shit. Because he's talking about deals, immunity deals. He goes, but I don't have to sell this shit, and you know it, because this shit right here sells itself. Now, when I'm looking at those posters, when I saw the color theory in the Lucent, there's people who know what they're doing, and there's people who were maybe still figuring it out, right? But it takes, you know, to get to the point where I'm able to do a fully painted comic book took every single one of those 47, 46 years. I couldn't spare a single one. Peter Watts, how are you doing? It's great to see you. I don't know what's wrong with me that I couldn't get into Heat. give it a shot. Give it another shot if you feel the need, because it's got some great stuff in it. Really does. It's a slow burn for sure, and I'm not saying you're not into slow burns. You might be. Sometimes a movie just doesn't hit with us, but it's great to see you, Peter. Spaceman Rocketeer is so great. Stevens was a genius. He sure was. I love that documentary on him. I backed that Kickstarter, and I forgot to even go back and check. So they were about to have the campaign removed from Kickstarter, and I just went, didn't I back that? And they go, I had like 50 messages from them, and it was like, we want to get you your Blu-ray because Dave Stevens changed my life. I got to tell him that face to face in San Diego, I think he was already battling leukemia at that point, which is just so frustrating. But he's one of those creators that I identify with a lot, because Rocketeer is very much this meticulously beautiful, handcrafted love letter to a past he didn't grow up in. And, it's nostalgia for the 30s and 40s he didn't grow up in. And for me, this is nostalgia for, 50s and 60s, Hammer horror films. And I didn't grow up during that time. So it's almost like we're going back, and of course, 1930s and silent films and Nosferatu, but it's just crazy. Yeah, oh, yeah. I absolutely... Anyone here get Ghost of the Badlands? We were just talking about that. And just the incredible quality of this book. Yeah, you're about to get it. And
going to get it.
Did you see Spaceman? Did it have the pinup? Did your one have the pinup I did in it in the back? Because I don't know which editions it's in. Because I don't understand how all that works. Thank God that's Razorfist's job.
Something you said earlier was exactly right, and I've articulated the same thing. That I needed all of the years leading up to this to be able to pull this off.
Yep.
Because I got into making t-shirts when I was about 19.
Yep.
And then I learned how to make them myself. I had to actually print them, how to actually make the screens and do all that stuff, so we could do tons of different designs. Because before then, if you're paying other people to do all that stuff, you really can't do many different designs and all that sort of stuff. So by learning to do it myself, not only did we make it cheaper, but I got to do hundreds and hundreds of t-shirt designs.
Yeah.
And then that got me into learning how to sell and what to say and how to sell to shops and stuff like that. And then I ended up doing a skate zine for about 5 years, and that taught me about editing and getting a desktop publishing and getting all that together and sending files to print and international shipping and and all that, and distribution and everything. And then I got back into t-shirt design, and the whole time I'm working, I'm learning about color correction, I'm learning about printing and everything, and just everything was in the right place. And then the whole time I was doing that, I was writing. Just writing and writing and writing and writing, and it all just it seemed like it was inevitable. It was all just like walking all these strands going towards one point.
Yeah.
That sort of kicked off in 2018. So I definitely agree with that. That it's like
something I've told my kids, and regardless of what. All right, take care, Mark's Music Obsession. Get some rest. It's great to see you, man. And yeah, it's something I told my kids, and regardless of what your faith is, or what anybody, whether you have it or whatever, I always told my kids that a massive aspect of what I do and what I tell them is, I go, if I start thinking I'm driving the car, my job is to work hard and do the next thing, but more often than not, when the serendipity comes up, I'm just like, you know what? God has a plan for where this is going, and I'm just going to work really hard to figure out, I'm going to do the job I have to do in front of me and not overthink where it's going. And so many of the things, if I had total control, of things, and I was just letting my introversion run things, I wouldn't have ever gone on the stream with you, having nothing to do with Comicsgate. But I didn't know why I went into teaching for all those years, but I was getting comfortable talking in front of people, silent and sometimes rooms of adults, or sometimes more conversant, communicating ideas. So I got this experience, and it's wild how that works.
Because I didn't know I wanted to make a comic.
Yep.
All those years ago, I knew I liked comics, but I never really thought about making one myself. If I just sort of sat down and said, okay, I'm gonna learn to draw, and just sort of done that for how many years? Yeah, I wouldn't have learned all the skills that I needed to actually achieve it. And I know there's so many people out there who are struggling. They've got their idea, they've got their book, maybe they've even hired an artist and they have some pages coming in, but they're struggling to put it all together in a way that works and can actually see it through to the end. Because I think they just they don't have the experience yet in managing all these different things. And I know a lot of other guys know how much goes. I mean, we sound like a broken record at this point. How much work goes into getting these things out, making them a reality. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean, it's and that was it. That was the other thing. So one of the funny things about it is, my wife said to me once, we were talking about something, and she said, well, you don't have any regrets about that time, and this is what I really mean when I say this stuff. I go, there could have been somebody there at that moment who I don't even know, who needed to hear something from me at that time, as has been the case for me so often in my life. Chance encounters where someone comes along, takes 3 minutes to give you a little bit of advice that you spend the rest of your life benefiting from and grateful to them for. And you just don't know if you don't get out there and try to do it. And I knew if I'd never done a fully painted comic. There's a reason why people don't do fully painted comics. Like there's a legitimate reason.
They're sane. They're not.
They're sane. People go
it's because they used to have mental institutions, and then they closed them, and all of a sudden, the closing of the institutions correlated exactly to the rising of people making fully painted
100%.
comic books.
Well, someone said to me this one time, and they go, you know what's weird? Alex Ross doesn't paint fully painted comics anymore. And I go, you know what's weird is that he ever did.
Yeah.
Like, what was he thinking?
I was showing off some comic art the other day by this guy called O Ren, who is a phenomenal artist, and he's doing these backgrounds, and they're so rendered and they're so beautiful. And the first thing I think is, bro, you can't do that. Like that's crazy. You understand? This is crazy what you're doing, because you're trying to tell a story. And then they actually sent me all of the preliminary sketches and how they weren't quite happy with certain things. And it's like, if I'm fit 30-40% into a piece and I'm not happy with a certain thing, I'm like, oh well, that's what it is now. Because I'm like, I got another 300 of these to do, that's just how it is. So yeah, it is particularly crazy what you did. So I tip my hat to you.
Well, and when I'm not happy with a painting, and this is the stuff that just makes my wife just be mortified and my friends mortified. If I'm not happy with a painting, then that part of the painting is going to just be repainted. And it's like, why? Like, what are you doing? No, Alex Ross is still alive and actually doing a documentary on Kingdom Come right now. So again, this is the thing I want to point to. If everybody... I feel like I'm going to sound like Gary Oldman in The Professional, You ever put your ear to the grass and you can hear it growing? This is mine. But if you put your ear to the ground right now, and if anybody's in here who hasn't smashed that like yet, do hit that like. YouTube does care about that kind of thing. But when I think about this stuff, I think about the art thing and the creative thing. There was this bubbling up of people rediscovering certain things. Like monsters, comics, bande dessinée, and they started to find each other. It wasn't online. It was in comic shops, and the comic shop direct market was kind of a new thing, and the ability for some of these books to get out there. And this happens in almost every art form. And right now, I'm seeing a very organic, growth and audience coming into comics and wanting to get this stuff. People are getting more comfortable with ordering stuff from creators and backing this stuff. Bob Ross is a genius, man. But I love Bob Ross. God bless him. And he's still crushing me on YouTube from the grave. So that's just how it goes.
He'll be crushing all of us.
Yes, he is. Yep. Paved over like a new... Yeah, I mean, when I'm working on and you know what's so funny is Ian McCaig, who is a concept artist who worked on the Star Wars movies, has one of my favorite quotes. They asked him, they said, how do you know when a concept design you're working on is done? And he goes, oh, that's easy. He goes, once I've killed it. Because that's when I know exactly when I should have stopped. And I remember thinking, oh my God. But just like with you and Razorfist's piece, it's the same thing with Weather's piece. Like, it's just started to really come together for me. But I have reworked a bunch of areas of it just to get the balance right. Because I wanted those cables to spell Oz, you know? Like, I'm like, I've got to have a subtle nod to them saying Oz, and I've got to make her a Valkyrie, so the chimp's got to be holding her at this angle. And then I just kept adding more of the characters into it and more depth till I got the Battle Brick Road painted into the ground plane. So you're looking down, and you can see this little river of the Battle Brick Road underneath Toto. And it never ends for me, you know. Like it's I have however many paintings left in me, and I want to do something. I want everything I do, I want it to be of artistic value and merit for the people I do that for.
It's like when you look back on the buildings they used to build, or the paintings they used to paint, or the sculptures they used to sculpt, and you look at it and you go, wow, those guys were insane. Like, the amount of time and effort and, you know, blood, sweat, and tears they put into their work. And, I think it's a pretty human instinct to do something that isn't that practical. But there's just something in you that says, no, you really need to do this. You should do this. You should spend 3 weeks painstakingly drawing out girders on the Eiffel Tower. Because... you know, at one point you'll be on Shant's channel and you'll be holding up a big poster of it. It'll look great.
It'd be great if it didn't matter, but we'd be kidding ourselves if that was the truth, because deep down we know it does matter. Because deep down what's happening is that some young person is going to see that and be inspired to know that just because he doesn't choose to do this or she doesn't choose to do this, you can still reach for excellence. And when we reach for excellence, when we don't just do the bare minimum, and we can say that anybody in the independent space, when it comes to fulfilling and printing and color correcting and doing all the work you don't do when there's an infrastructure behind you, but to still create something of excellence is a different level of work ethic. There's no shortcuts and there's no ease to it at all. And that's why you guys are here. That's why you guys know that every time you guys, like, every time I update my channel members list on this channel, or, you know, Cranberry Langers, who's asleep now, God bless him, hopefully getting some rest, you know, right as the stream was wrapping up, he's like, you know, here's for some paintbrushes, and sent me a super chat. And I just thought, you know, that's the stuff that makes this possible. You know, it's crazy. Like, those posters will take the Pepsi challenge with any, you know, I took one of your posters, the Eiffel Tower poster, and I hung that up in the window of a comic shop in Paris, people would look at it and go, I want to go check out that book. It would be totally at home there. And that's what you were shooting for. That was the goal, right? When you first started making and thinking about comics.
Yeah, because that's what caused me to get into it. I always show this off. I don't know where it is at the moment.
And Spaceman saying being unethical is learned just like being ethical is. You're absolutely right. Yep.
I don't know where it is, but yeah, there's a page that was the page on that bande dessinée where I opened it up and I just stood there and I was like, yeah. So I was that person and I was in awe and I was like, wow, someone sat down, and it wasn't even part of the story. It was just the opening page and it had the title on it. It wasn't. It was just there. and someone sat down and drew this whole big cityscape.
Yeah.
Just to bring me in and make me have a sense of awe. And it worked. I bought it, and then I went into the thing. So, yeah, you're exactly right. That does happen, because it happened to me. And, yeah, you know, I like to do that as well.
This page right here from the Rocketeer color trade paperback, where he takes off for the first time with the helmet and the suit, that his Dave Stevens mentor who worked in animation, Doug Wildley, I think, or I can never remember his name, but he posed for Peavy for this. He worked at Hanna-Barbera, helped him with the layout on this. But I saw that page turn of Cliff taking off as the Rocketeer for the first time. I saw the deco hand lettering, all of that stuff, and I went, my God, this is the kind of comic I want to see. Like, this is like I want to make this one day. And I didn't know at the time that it was, the colors were hand painted on it, like by all these amazing artists who would go on to do, you know, incredible work. Like if you look at the, I think they have the credits for coloring for it. I'm going to give you the first two names just so you grasp what we're talking about. Or the main colorist on the book is Joe Chiodo. Don't know if you know him, but a huge digital colorist. Worked for Image stuff, did all of this stuff. And then with assists from, and the first name of people assisting on the colors is Bruce Timm from the Batman animated series creator. This was the ground in which so many amazing artists came into this space. This is an indie book. You know, they were talking about things like Max Fleischer Superman cartoons, and then they made those things a reality. And I hope that everybody here in Comicsgate and everybody in this space remembers this time we're in right now. This time that's the beginning. To get Nosfero for me, I got this book freshman year of college, so that would have been 1994. Oh my God. I got this freshman year of college 30 years ago when I met Rocky. We've known each other for 30 years. And Nosfero is the exact same size as that book, so I can put these books together on my shelf, the book next to the inspiration, and there it is. That's cool. I said to my wife, I can die happy now, and she said, please don't. She's like, don't do that.
That's what, I mean, when people first asked me, like, why do you want to do this? I was like, I want to put my feet up on the couch and look at the bookshelf and see my book there. And say, I did that. I wrote that story.
Amen. Yeah. Spaceman.
It's like...
Yeah. Dude, the stuff is beautiful, man. And seeing those books, it's just relentless quality. That's what we're always doing. You know, relentless quality. Uh-oh, there's the sketch. There it is. Boom. Look at that.
Gold. I like gold.
Dude, it's so good. I'm so glad we do everything the easy way here in Comicsgate, aren't you? Like, let me grab something real quick while you hold it down. Hang on.
I hope you got your gold bundle during the campaign. You'll be getting the first sneaky peeky at the book I'm working on at the moment, Fractured Mind. Or the printed one. I mean, you can come onto my channel and watch me work on it. As I talk about everything else. I'm not like Shant. I can't really do two things at once. My gears start to grind to a halt.
You know, the jokes that were made when people found out I was having twins along those lines were hilarious. They went, of course, that psycho multitasker has twins. It's like, yeah. Oh, my Lord. But yeah, so you were just talking about the first full page. Spaceman was talking about the first full page shot of Batman in The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller, and I have my 4 hardcovers there. Is this the page you were talking about, Spaceman? That was the one that made you go, holy cow, comics? Because it's a damn good one. There are many good ones in here.
That was probably a big holy cow moment for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big Batman historian, but I think that was like one of the first times they ever saw Batman like that, and they were like,
yep,
blown away. Shant, unfortunately, I have to run. I have someone coming over in a couple of minutes, so...
Well, go for it, brother. Thank you for popping on, man.
Greet them. Oh, thank you for the invite. It's been a pleasure. I'm very happy to share these things with you.
Dude, that
you were the
stuff's
first person
awesome.
I showed the posters to, so...
Oh my god, dude. That stuff looks absolutely spectacular.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yep.
And I look forward to hearing your feedback, because you're one of only two people, well, apart from that.
Yeah.
You and Joe are one of the only two people who've actually seen the contents of the book, but what you saw was like a halfway finished version, so I can't wait for you to see the full.
I know how I can imagine it's going to be outstanding, of course, but it was so weird because I was in such a reference mode. It's going to be a very different mode when I read it. You know what I mean? Anyway,
oh, yeah.
It was. Totally. It's going to be like going on an adventure. So, are you talking about this one then? You said the first one where you see him on a horse. I'm curious if it's this one, Spaceman. What's up, Fopeezy? It's great to see you, man. And just to wrap up that one note on DC Comics, that's probably why I missed Ethan's work on that, is because the only DC I read were, funny enough, one of his favorite books, which was The Killing Joke. I read all the special books, that were put out, like The Dark Knight Returns and all of the Square-bound stuff. And then I was, and that was still in the 80s. So yeah, seeing that kind of stuff, that comic got me into comics. Yeah, it's Dark Knight was absolute amazing.
I was reading Marvel. I came over to read The Death of Superman. I thought, oh, he's dead now. All right, I'll go back to Marvel. Yeah, that's what happened. That's my one DC book. I read The Death. It was a good book, but not much of a read. But it was a good book. There we go. Look, 5 in the bank while sitting here chatting with Shant. There we go.
Well done, my friend. Keep on rocking in the free world, brother.
Thank you so much, and hopefully not so long between drinks next time. That was my fault. I was
absolutely right.
Too busy.
Don't worry about it. All right, take care, brother.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, the great Michael Bancroft. Check out his campaign, The Lucent 2, Painted Death. The link is in the description. If you did not see all that awesome stuff that is, that he was showing earlier in the stream, it is still there, my friends. It's still there. And really cool stuff. But yeah, guys, it's as I think you guys saw, and you know how passionate we are about making comics for you guys, and putting all of this stuff together so we can get you guys the best possible images of this stuff. And it's always great when we can get together and hang out like this and have a conversation about it, because you guys are very much the engine that makes all of this possible. I saw some Bancroft stuff on Twitter. I think it looked awesome. 100%. Yeah. Mike's, I don't know how to really describe it, but there have been a lot of people in Comicsgate that I've seen their stuff, and I just instantly feel like I got it. Like I just go, I get what that is. That's great. I know what that's about. And Mike is one of those creators who I looked at his stuff and I went, holy cow, that makes total sense to me. And there's been, a couple people like that, there's a couple, like more than a couple artists like that. And I've always liked independent comics. The first comic, and I've also loved Marvel. I loved, Hulk, Wolverine, all of those things. Great to see you, Cranberry Landers. Great to have you back, man. The one where Batman is riding towards the camera. So the second one I showed, right? Yeah, that was in book 4, The Dark Knight Falls. Let me see if I can get it. And one of the most iconic Batman illustrations ever, right, is this one right here. Klaus Janson doing dynamite work on the inks there. I mean, and if you were a young person and you see something like that, I mean, that's about as epic as it gets. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. And I love that stuff. Let's see. I wish those guys got more play on these YouTube channels. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I missed the first part of it. Let me see if I missed it. Oh, saw some Bancroft on Twitter. It looked awesome. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, well, Mike's got a killer channel. If you're not subscribed to it, guys, do subscribe to Michael Bancroft's channel. It is a great channel. If you want to drop the link, that's the one. Oh, awesome, Spaceman. If you guys want to drop the link to Michael Bancroft's channel, please do. Give him a subscription. He's great. And he's one of the first people that I met in Comicsgate. You know, I mean, I didn't know anybody when I came in here. And what's been really cool is, you know, you guys know my friend Rocky. I've known Rocky for 30 years. We met each other freshman year of college. That's why I know I was in college 30 years ago. And I've known him for 30 years. And that is a beautiful page, isn't it? Floored you. All the power and the emotion in it. Understood, Spaceman. It did for me, too. The piece that floored me from the series, funny enough, was the cover to book 4. So it was this fully silhouetted Superman. I actually have, because I do collect, you know, action figures in that scale. I have the first figures they made. I think it was it DC Direct made of the Frank Miller Superman and Batman over there. Love that stuff. Who? Michael Who Croft? Does he look like you but is a white Australian? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. But I saw that and I just thought, this is... You know what's so funny about this stuff, guys? Painted comics, they were happening, but they weren't a big thing. And just by silly happenstance, the comics that I ended up being my introduction to things, even if they were... I mean, Todd McFarlane was just pencil and ink, full stop. Like, that was like the one that became my favorite comic book artist. But the comic that got me into a comic shop had a painted cover. It was Mike Zeck's Punisher Limited Series number 2, where Mike Zeck's art was airbrushed and turned into a painting by, I think it was, Zimmelman or Zimmelman? I forget the guy's name. But he did these airbrushes over the Punisher Limited Series covers, and issue 2 was what I saw that made me want to go into a comic shop. Then there was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first graphic novel, that was a painting by Kevin Eastman. The Rocketeer graphic novel that had a fully painted cover by Dave Stevens, and then painted coloring on the inside. And then Frank Miller's Dark Knight, where his ex-wife now, but his wife at the time, Lynn Varley, did watercolor gouache paintings for all the coloring. So I was always, even though I had no understanding of color theory, never thought I would be doing color work, I was looking at all of these books that ended up being in the very same format and the very same, stylistic of being square bound and all of that I'm doing now with Nosfero. And the cool thing about, you know, doing book 1 and now looking at book 2 is the story is going to get so much more sweeping, and the how do I put it? Now that I've got the groundwork, I'm starting to really get to know this world. So to be able to introduce, that's what it is. Zimmelman, or yes, that's exactly right. Incredible. I feel like I have that book somewhere. I just don't know where I have that book. I feel like it's got to be kicking around here somewhere. But yeah, I do have... Yeah, I don't know where I put that book, but those paintings are so cool. It's like driving me crazy because I'm like, I know I have that book somewhere. But those paintings are so beautiful because they just have this... They're very vivid. They're very pulpy. And I didn't really know what pulp was yet. Yep, and thank you, Timmy Mello. The link to Michael Bancroft's channel is right there. Yes. Yeah, Zeck and Zimmelman, it says right there. Yep, I have a Punisher poster of that. Yes, so good. And again, thank you. That is the link to Michael's channel. Please subscribe. John, it's great to see you. Just got here in time for the wrap-up. I'm not totally wrapping up yet. I got a few more minutes in me. And hello to you, my friend. Yeah, you guys are hilarious. And 40% Zeds there. Oh, hold on a second. Wow, that's a big one. Let me put on my dad glasses in a little bit. When I was little, I loved the Transformers. One day, that's a really great example, my dad brought home some Transformers number 5. It has a somewhat famous cover. I had never seen Transformers depicted in that way. I'm sorry, yeah, in that way. That book, that's the book that got me. Yes. So, exactly. And well said. You bringing up Transformers actually made me realize that some of my other favorite paintings as an artist were all of those fantastic 80s painted toy packaging, right? So He-Man, G.I. Joe, and the Transformers box art where they would, airbrush or acrylic paint the illustrations of the characters. And I just thought, this is the coolest art I've ever seen. Toy package design was incredible. Those He-Man, and it's funny, I didn't know Frazetta, but I'm looking at the artwork and I forget the gentleman's name. I just looked him up the other day, who did those He-Man box art covers, was completely referencing Frank Frazetta's Conan work. So I was always getting to Pulp and those old Shadow covers, which they were kind of doing with the Punisher, with those painted covers. I was getting everywhere that I would eventually end up, but I didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't know what everybody was referencing. It's wild. Yeah, that's excellent, 40% Zed. Excellent. Yeah, everybody's got that great... Yes, your dad. Oh, totally knew what you meant. Yep. Yeah, those old fantasy magazines were great. A Man Called Plush, what's up? Oh my, the damsel flexing her Princess Leia. That's right. You know what's so funny is, I didn't even think about that. Of course, Star Wars is a major touchstone for me. But I don't know if you have seen this movie, but one of my favorite movies of all time. I wouldn't, because I love movies so much, I'm reluctant to say anything's in my top 10 because my top 10 will change. I know movies that are battling it out for number one, but I haven't really thought about it. But one of my favorite movies of all time is Michael Mann's The Last of the Mohicans. I had a mad crush on Madeline Stowe's character in that movie. And actually, I think I had a crush on Jodie May, who played her younger sister in that movie. And it's so funny. I was a kid when I saw that movie, but there's a moment where Madeline Stowe is running for her life, playing Cora in Last of the Mohicans, and she takes out a flintlock pistol and kind of aims it at the camera and takes out one of the people trying to kill them in this big battle scene. And I never forgot that. And so if you watch that movie, this moment right here, what she's doing, and the fact that she's in this kind of, classical old style, as I say, it's a period piece as done by Hammer Movies in the 1960s and 70s. That's a huge influence for that, because I love that movie so much. Just great stuff. There was no Pizza Cast. We're doing the Waffle Lodge. Whenever, every now and again, I want to mix it up and just do what I'm calling an Oddcast, where I look at various things and we talk about art and see if people want to pop in. So I sent out the link to a couple of people just to test out Ecamm and to see how I could get it to work. And Michael was kind enough to pop in here and say hello. And we were hanging out a lot, and then we both have just been working like crazy, and our kids are different ages. It's really kind of an unbelievable thing how we all kind of meet and the kind of journeys that we go on. So, and we know, like, we were talking the other day, probably was a month ago, and we were just going, we gotta get back together. But I was shipping Nosfero and printing it, so I definitely want to do this. Yeah, she had the big hair. Madeline Stowe. I think so. Yeah, I can't really remember because they all had kind of big hair and that. Sketchier than you both. There you go. I'll have to watch that. Remember it from when I was a kid. May have seen some of it, but never watched it. Yeah, it came out in, I think, 1992, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on that year. And just beautiful cinematography by Dante Spinotti. And reminds me very much of the Tennessee Valley where I grew up between Lookout and Signal Mountain. So I grew up in the valley with these two mountains on either side that I used to go up to, see friends on. It's craziness. Yeah. Wow. Love that movie. Shot in North Carolina. There you go. The score is wonderful. It has the finest score for my money of a kind of sweeping epic romance. And if there was a score that I would say to listen to when you're reading Nosfero, I would say that. If you watch the last sequence of the rescue sequence, I'll put in kind of air quotes because it's so much more than that, but the rescue sequence, the final battle scene in Last of the Mohicans, the music that I want to learn how to play on violin is because I've been trying to teach myself how to play it. The Promenade is the music you would listen to. It's you listen to that. There's even a part where the character of Uncas, played by Eric Schweig, has got a knife, and he just like, swings and cuts this guy. It's kind of in like slow motion, and it was a huge influence for this page where Nosfero is in the foreground, and he's cutting the throat of this vampire, this Nosferatu, and Laurel is up on a rock, in danger, and he's just trying to get to her. And I always think of that music. I always think of that music when I see that scene now, because it's just that's the tone I love in movies, where the consequences of those old weapons, you're seeing them, so it's you've got Nosferatu and silent film being a part of this, and then the Hammer horror movies, but just my heart and soul is in movies like that. I like gothic romance for my horror movies. I like there to be heroic characters who are triumphing over evil. But I like the aesthetics of horror, and the aesthetics of the gothic look for me is everything. I liked Help. I Married a Monster from Outer Space. Also a great flick, by the way. Love it, man. Yep, that's right. Let me see. It's weird. I realize when we talk movies how much I love movies. I love movies. So it feels weird that I'm so apathetic these days. And I'll tell you what's interesting is I have been recharging myself lately. And I've been doing it now for years, and it has been fantastic by only watching and revisiting old movies. Getting Blu-rays, watching behind-the-scenes features, but then watching them in the best possible presentation. So just the other day, I was watching Jaws, the Hammer horror movies, in the beautiful kind of Technicolor look with Jack Asher's incredible lighting. If you've only seen them on television, or if you've only seen them when you were a kid, you haven't seen them yet. Look at those remastered Blu-rays that Arrow puts out or Shout Factory puts out. They're fantastic. Look at the remastered Lawrence of Arabia. The remastered Ben-Hur is incredible. And even whatever guilty pleasure movies you have. I was watching one of my favorite movies. It's a big influence on Nosfero that kind of came to me through Razor Fist, interestingly enough, is Solomon Kane. I love Solomon Kane. And, Razor Fist was talking about that, and I knew about Conan, but I didn't know about Solomon Kane. And once I started, and he spoke highly of the movie, I checked out the movie, and I've been interested in Solomon Kane ever since. So, I mean, gosh, guys, the conversations that we have here, the conversations that we have right here in Comicsgate and on YouTube and having these things, they lead to so many serendipitous meetings and sharing of things that we're interested in. I heard, and I wouldn't have known this if he hadn't brought it up, but I heard Cecil talking about the audio drama, you can't even call it an audiobook, of World War Z, the novel that's written by Max Brooks, who is Mel Brooks's and Anne Bancroft's son, I think. I'm getting the, hope I got mom's name right because it's late. And I like the book is the movie is a totally different animal and somewhat enjoyable, but the book is masterful. It's incredible how it's told. It's almost like Bram Stoker's Dracula via letters and individual accounts. But if you haven't heard the audiobook, they have a dynamite cast of actors do the audiobook of World War Z, and it's incredible. But I wouldn't have known that he was also a fan of it if he hadn't brought it up. So we share the things that we're passionate about, and someone who might not have heard of it might go check it out. But how else are you going to see, campaigns with fully painted comic books getting funded? Uh-oh, I hope I'm not buffering too bad. Gladiator is another masterpiece. Yep. Ben-Hur is an amazing classic. Let's see here. Yeah, you guys are cracking up. Really would have guessed that one too. Yeah. It's, I really enjoy also Max Brooks's book after that, which was Devolution. And it is... It's a book. It's a book that is a terrifying, like, horror movie, almost like World War Z, but it's about Mount Rainier erupting, a bunch of people who are at this kind of like almost Elon Musk, Tesla-esque, self-sufficient outdoor community that allows you to enjoy the great outdoors without giving up the conveniency of high technology. Mount Rainier explodes. It takes out all that technology. They're completely cut off because of the lava flow. And the lava flow from Mount Rainier and the fire and the eruption drives a bunch of angry, aggressive, territorial Sasquatch into that area. And the Sasquatch start picking them off, and they have to try to defend themselves. And it's terrifying. And it's great. And it was born to be a movie. It's crazy. Oh, I think The Man Who Would Be King is a really well done movie. It is fantastic, 100%. Yeah, The Road to El Dorado is actually breathtaking. Yeah, Master and Commander is one of my absolute favorites. I think the soundtrack, the score for that's fantastic. The cast is exceptional. The attention to detail and history, the trip to the Galapagos Islands, all of it is top notch, and it's one of my favorite movies to put on whenever I'm just trying to get myself focused. And of course, I like the violin and violin music as well, and it's beautiful. Beautiful film. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people love it. Yeah, totally epic, yeah. No, I didn't, but I'm always checking that stuff out, guys. I mean, listen, I think I mentioned it earlier on stream, but one of my favorite YouTube shows right now is, or channels, is the Y-Files. And I'm not alone, obviously. There's like 3.8 million subscribers, and talk about a fan base that interacts. That guy is one of the hardest working people on YouTube, and probably in production. But him and his team do great stuff. But he explores a lot of that stuff, and there's a debunking element to it, but he puts so much thought into those videos. They're incredibly well done and interesting. So yeah, I love all that stuff, and I go to sleep every night listening to old Art Bell radio casts from typically from either Spooky Matter or Ghost to Ghost, because I love those. Those put me right in the great mental sort of wrap up the day, illustrating monsters and horror and working on this next phase of the Nosfero story, and introducing a new villain and then a mysterious new force of good that's not operating in the same plane of existence as Nosfero, but their paths are going to cross in a very cool way. So yeah, very cool. Somebody recently put me on, and I subscribed to Y-Files. Very cool. Yeah, absolutely. I like Mr. Bell a lot. Yes, of course. Yeah. Love that stuff. Oh man, Art was the best. I fell asleep to him in the early 2000s. Yeah, Art Bell had such a great voice for radio, but just he had such a great demeanor. You know, you felt like he was talking directly to you, and I think that yeah. Oh, you meant El Dorado, the John Wayne film. Funny enough, I've been on a bit of a John Wayne kick, and I'm planning to watch The Searchers with Mrs. Ingetti. But yeah, John Wayne, what a legend. Yeah, El Dorado is awesome. Yep. Cool, I believe Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster... Oh, shoot. Cool, I believe Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster skinwalkers do exist. Well, that's the fun of what we do. Yeah, Art Bell is an absolute legend. Yeah, Art Bell is amazing. Yep. Absolutely right. Yep. Oh, love The Quiet Man. Yes, indeed. Guys, who here is getting excited about, about all of this stuff? See, we come together, we have these conversations, and whatever else is going on in the world, right? And we're all aware of, like, whenever, there's a lot of tough stuff going on in the world right now. But we're not going to have any energy to address it if we're not getting some kind of spiritual nourishment. It's like, one of the most important people in camp for a boxer, for a fighter, is a nutritionist. And knowing how to make sure that you've got this person, in peak condition. They can't be starving themselves, and they can't be overeating. They can't be undertraining and they can't be overtraining. There's an art form to it. And we need that kind of spiritual food that the great literature and the great, stories give us. And we need art, creativity. We need to be a part of making things and not about pulling things down and destroying things. I don't know why that is either. And I'm not being sarcastic about it. And yes, indeed, always bow to Mrs. Ingetti. But I'm going to come back to that in a second. I just want to make sure I get Timmy Mello's super chat. There was a paranormal story related to a hunter being stalked by Sasquatch, but there was another where where a power line inspector was stalked by a pack of dog men in the Mississippi River area. My God, down south. Holy cow. There's a lot of great lore, by the way. A lot of great lore in America that to be realized in film and to be realized in story, But it's a wild thing about just the way that art can kind of inform us and the way that seeing people make things and create things and seeing our agency and helping people to create things, it just can be such a powerful thing for us. And it really just kind of fills up our tank, creatively. And the fact that I get to spend this time with you guys and that so many of you guys, not only can you go back and watch the process of me making Nosfero, but you guys are going to be front and center, as I launch the Second Chance campaign for Nosfero, the Crypt Walker. So for those of you guys who missed book 1 and are, wanting to get a hold of that, I have so many books right now. I have so many books right now everywhere. But for those of you guys who missed it and want to make sure you grab it, it's that Second Chance campaign. I don't know when I'm going to print more. I can't really overprint much because I have a small room I do it all from. I do it all solo. So I can't have tons of boxes in here. So don't miss that Second Chance campaign. Do not miss it. But that's going to be available for you guys so that you guys can get this story. But then you're going to also be seeing me creating Nosfero 2. And that story is going to have the same attention to those beautiful cobblestones. I just get excited thinking about the backgrounds and putting you guys in these gothic settings and, Dracula, my Dracula character, coming down the stairs with his cape and his really cool, the symbol that he has on his chest, the crest there, and talking about, the nature of evil and all of that stuff in this book. And I really feel like I got to know this character on the first book, and now I'm going to... I know exactly what I want to do with book 2, with some room for serendipity and happenstance. Okay, just me, or was Bullet overrated? I finally saw it and was meh. Well, it depends on the tastes, with everything. Yes, indeed, you do need spiritual food, Cranberry Langers. Matthew 4, King James Version. Let's see here. But he answered and said, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God." There you go. Oops, I just clicked on the wrong one here. I had a lot of fun with a podcast that collected the paranormal lore from the U.S. and abroad, but I couldn't handle it anymore because the main guy kept getting things wrong and others never corrected. There you go. That's right. Yep, see? That's the crazy thing. One of my favorite things, and amen indeed, says Timmy Mello, agreed. One of the things that gets me and is I guess the thing that fuels me, is I like to hear about the things other people are passionate about. Like, I love the movie Psycho. It's like just the genius of it, the genius writing, and the fact that Hitchcock was trying to make pure cinema where it was the director that was the star. And it was a director's movie. So when I found out that Ethan was also a fan of it, it was just fun to have somebody who was really interested in it, really passionate about it. So when I had the idea to do a trailer, I remember I shot him an email and I said, I got an idea for a Psycho-inspired trailer and I was telling my wife about this today. I said, for Fearsome, can you send me all of the preview artwork in high resolution? He's like, sure, here you go. It's the funniest thing in the world because, I've done a bunch of videos and things like that, and I did a trading card for him, but which has all been great, but it's when you understand, like when you meet other artists and you understand like what you're trying to do a little bit, and it was great. It was great that he liked it because we have a similar passion for that film. And when I started interacting with Razor Fist has a much more what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, his depth of knowledge when it comes to pulp, when it comes to the shadow and all of that stuff, exceeds mine by a great deal. So, but he's also very good at distilling things down. And so, as I started to explore his own books, I started doing some paintings of his characters because I was curious. And I sent him a message, I remember. I said, can you send me a sketch of this character? I want to see, I'm trying to understand what they look like. So he sent me a sketch. I said, can you send me a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, we just, when artists meet, sometimes we just get each other, you know? He got what I was trying to do. He saw my work and he saw what it was about. I said, did you ever do a design for the sword of one of his characters in I wonder if I have it here. One of his characters, in one of his novels. And this was the character, this was the thief. And he sent me a sketch and he said, this is what the sword looks like on this character. And I was just doing some, exploration sketches on canvas and acrylic. So I was just kind of running around with what my ideas were of what the character could look like. So, but I had that question. I go, could you explain to me, what the sword looks like? And he sent me a sketch right away. He's like, okay, I got something for you to look at. And it was, it was fun because I was playing around with, his ideas and his world in acrylic because it's just fun when artists and creators get together. Very influenced by the shadow covers by, oh my gosh, George Rosen, who's one of my favorite shadow artists and pulp artists. But it's how we kind of get to know each other. And then cut to, I don't know how long after that it was, he asked me if I wanted to do a cover for Ghost of the Badlands. And so this is sort of a character for his second book, which is called Death Mask. And so I'm doing this exploration of this one particular character. I think he sent me a sketch for this as well, come to think of it, for the mask, but then a nightmare that another character is having. And it's just, all of us communicate in the language of art. You know what I mean? Like and you guys are this group of just passionate, patrons of the art. You want to see this stuff happen. You believe that the process of art is as enriching as I find it. This is how I communicate with people. When I see an artist's work, I will often do an illustration or a sketch because it's the easiest way for me to say, do you know what I'm talking about? Like, am I getting it? Or sorry, not do you know what I'm talking about? Do I know what you're talking about? That's how we kind of meet each other. And, I had no idea that was going to lead to... I didn't know he was going to do a comic, to be perfectly honest with you. He talked about it, but to do a piece for Ghost of the Badlands was outstanding. It was such a fun process, but it happened, organically. That's how things work. I'll never forget, I was doing trailers, and I don't have the original because it got the original painting was sold, as well as all of the developmental sketches. A lot of people like to buy the sketches that accompany the work. They like to buy the total thing. So any sketches, any tracing transfers, they want it all because they're art collectors. And so, but the trading card that I did for Ethan for CYBERFROG, and I don't know where I have that. I'm sure it's kicking around here somewhere. But the trading card I did there came out of, much like the Ghost of the Badlands piece, it kind of came out of nowhere, where Ethan had seen my work. I don't know what the heck we were talking about at that time. And he said, I want to commission you to do a CYBERFROG card, and how much do you charge and all that stuff. And so that CYBERFROG trading card is one of my favorite things I've ever done. It's a really, and it was hard. The first sketch I did for him, he's like, this looks like too much like one of the drawings I've already done because I don't do tech stuff. And so I was looking at, I was trying to draw on model, but I wasn't really understanding the characters. And he goes, it was so great. He goes, no, this looks too much like something else I already done. Take another run at it. And it was the best bit of direction that I ever got, because he's like, I want to see you do something with it. I want to see you do something with it. And that kind of support from an artist, that's invaluable. That kind of direction is invaluable. And the next sketch I did, he was like, this is 1,000 times better. This is absolutely what you should do. And then it turned into a very large scale gouache painting. And it's one of my favorite paintings I've ever done. And it's a subject matter that I don't typically do, which is science fiction with a lot of tech. I enjoy it, but it got me to think about things very differently, and how I would work in Chrome if I was doing, with metal characters in the future. So yeah, it's outstanding. It's so fun, absolutely. Cranberry Landers, 100%. Yeah, I love pulp shit. I was having a great discussion in high speed chat earlier with a guy about Robert Howard and trying to proselytize for Fred. Saberhagen. Is that correct, or is it Saberhagen? I think it's Saberhagen, but I'm not sure. Sean, you didn't bumble your way to success. What 40-year-old overnight success? Yeah, it's absolutely true. Sean's a high-tech redneck now. Amen. God bless. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Yeah, and it's so true, because about, with all of that stuff, because I've always enjoyed helping people the best I can and trying to do things for people, and I've always believed in, putting, beauty out into the world. But when my wife told me, she came home one time and she said to me, Shanth, our daughter's ballet teacher wanted to know if I could paint some set backdrops. Now, these things were huge, and this was a month ago, maybe month and a half ago. I probably spent easily like 80 hours. I was in that ballet studio by myself, and I watched the sun come up. I painted all day, all night to get that thing done. Now, that's not a job I'm doing for money. That's me volunteering as a parent. And I put everything I can put into that. And not because my daughter is going to be in the show, although that's obviously a big part of it. That I love my daughter and I want to help. The same thing with my son. I want to help those guys. I love that. It's like volunteering to do paintings and things and design the elementary school haunted hallway for Halloween for him and all of his friends when he was in 6th grade. It's all the same thing. But it's about putting good out into the world. It's about helping in your community locally, and also trying to put positivity out there, because that makes, I don't know, in small ways that makes things better. And if you look at those times when I've helped people in CG especially, it tends to be driven by me seeing somebody who is either exhausted or, under fire from all this outside BS, and I think they could use a little bit of a lift, use a little bit of a little shot in the arm, a little bit of positivity. And one of the things that's interesting about that is that this is one of the few spaces where I've experienced receiving that in kind in my, almost 50 years of life. And that's something incredibly valuable, and that includes you guys as well. So yeah, so much appreciation here. Mo Biggs, hail to you. It's great to see you. One of the few older references I understand. Yep. My physics teacher in high school used to do that stuff all the time. Really cool guy. Yeah, I painted classrooms when I was a college professor. I mean, really repainted classrooms, and bought students art supplies. My best friend, outside of Mrs. Ingetti, my best guy friend is a guy named Nick, and I was in line at an art supply store, and he said, "What are you doing, man?" And they go, "I've got some students who can't afford zinc white gouache, and it's kind of expensive. So I'm buying a tube, so it can be the communal tube, so they don't have to feel bad because they can't afford, it's one of these big tubes of gouache. Actually, I've got one right here, and they're a little bit expensive. They're about $20. And he was in line behind me, didn't have to do this. It was students at a school he wasn't teaching at, and he goes, "I'll take one of those tubes of gouache too for his students." Those are the kinds of people that I'm friends with. Those are the kinds of people I know long term. And when I say I've known Rocky for 30 years, I don't have friends for 30 years if they're not quality people. Like, he's a very, he's got integrity, he's a good dude, and really positive, and you're never gonna, he's just not out there putting poison into the world and gossiping and all that other stuff. He's like, and there's so much of that these days. He's one of those guys who he's there if you need him, and he works incredibly hard, and he takes care of his family, and he's always there to be supportive. He knows, in order of people, it's like there's my wife who knows the most about me, there's my brother Nick, and then there's, Rock and the people in that group, and that's a small group. So yeah, very fortunate in friendships, and very fortunate in all of you guys. I can't say that enough. Yeah, $20 for a tube that size. Yep. It's an excellent tube of paint. It might very well last you. I think I've had some of these tubes of paint for a couple of years. So they last you a long time. I mean, if you're not squeezing it out of the tube. But it's, yeah, I mean, I want people to, if I'm trying to teach somebody, I want them to have the materials that they need. And I don't want them to I tell people, I try to give them supplies that are affordable but also work. Because if you get something for cheap and it doesn't work, you're just throwing money away anyway. And so that was just one of those things. And my brother, Nick, was like, "I'm here to help. Let's do this." Yeah, Rocky is a good guy. 100%. Too good. Yeah, he is. He's great. I haven't used gouache in a while, yeah, but I can see that zinc white's going fast. Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. Yeah, he also blames his mistakes on his chat. Yeah, he does, man. Yeah, he is. He's a terrific guy. Terrific guy. Yeah. When I had 2 newborn twins and I'd been doing night duty so that my wife could sleep because she was recovering a lot of health things after the kids were born, I told Rock, I need to fly out there to see you guys and just get downtime. And he's like, "Well, we'll make sure you get sleep. We'll feed you. We'll take you around to comic shops and bookstores." And then he said to me, "Do you want to go to visit ILM, or visit Skywalker Ranch?" He goes, "Because we know people at both." And I said, "I've always wanted to visit Skywalker Ranch." And so my 2 brothers out there on the West Coast, my other brother Arvin, who's got a YouTube channel called Comics Rant. Check that out as well. They took me to Skywalker Ranch, and we were there. I think they had, gosh, what was it? They had just, I gotta get my years right. So Revenge of the Sith would have just come out because my kids were born, so it would have been after 2005, and I just got a tour from one of the first hires of Lucasfilm Animation. So it was awesome. I still have the map of Skywalker Ranch they gave us when we went around. I have it framed somewhere in here. But it was just a great time, man. It was a great time. I don't paint or use a lot of traditional supplies, but the few college art classes have already taught me the pain that comes from the bank account. Yes, indeed. Yeah. So yeah, that's how far back I go with these guys, My friend who's a former student of mine who did all the Guitar Hero concept art, Cameron Scott Davis, he was just out here being a guest critic at RISD, where I taught for, 15 years or so, maybe. I think that's right. And he was just out here, and he came to my house. We hung out, and then we went out to dinner, and we just talked about art and painting. I gave him one of my sketchbooks. You build relationships like this over time, guys, and it's because he's a quality guy. We've had lots of conversations about life and art, and that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. So, yes, Luke and Leia, you had twins. Yeah, I was in the movie theater for the midnight showing of Revenge of the Sith while my wife was at home about to bust. Well, actually, not quite yet. She's still had a summer to go through, but pregnant with boy-girl twins. For somebody who was born in 1976, about what would that have been? Like about 9 months or so before the first Star Wars movie came out, to be seeing the last of the George Lucas Star Wars movies and having your wife pregnant with fraternal twins was a bit of a trip. Pretty crazy stuff, yeah. And then I went to Skywalker Ranch. Yep, and I got them little Skywalker Ranch kids t-shirts, which when they were little, they'd run around in. I still have videos of them wearing them. Yeah. Yeah, you could say that, not to mention the fact that they were born in Providence, Rhode Island. So, yeah, you can't make this stuff up, guys. You can't make this stuff up. Well, I've been going for about 2 hours and 18 minutes. I know there's a lot of great streams out there, guys, but I want to thank you guys for coming in. I hope you've hit the like. If you're watching this elsewhere, I hope you've enjoyed seeing the stream. Come by, support the channel, get excited. Nosfero, the Crypt Walker Second Chance campaign is going to be launching on H.P. Lovecraft's birthday, August 20th. And I must say this, in honor of the late, great Art Bell, I always like to say, from the heart of Lovecraft country, in the birthplace of American religious liberty. My name is Jonathan Jetty. You've been watching Jonathan Jetty Art, and this has been a long time coming, a return to the Waffle Lodge, the late night Waffle Lodge, here on Jonathan Jetty Art. And as I must always say to you, wonderful, wonderful people, speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and if I can remember how to do it, peace be with you. And have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday night into Friday morning, or Saturday. I don't even know what time it is. Friday night for Bance. And take care. And thank you, Michael Bancroft, for joining us. Check out all of the independent comics in the description. Everything is great. And if you missed any part of this, please go back and check it out. I've got the updated channel member credits for all of my channel members. If you become a channel member, your name will be in these credits as well. You guys make this show possible. And I thank you so much because doing what you do helps me to do what I do. Thank you, thank you. This wouldn't be possible without you. So yes, indeed. Take care, guys. Thank you so much, Mo Biggs. Thank you, John. Great to see all of you guys. Thank you, Emo Trash. It's great to see you here. You guys are all great. Good night, Cranberry Langers. Peter Watts, take care. Timmy Mello, my brother. Great stream. Be safe, everyone. Thank you for being here, Timmy. You always put a smile on my face, man. 40% Zed, you are very welcome. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Rest in peace, Art Bell. I know exactly what you mean. Take care, Spaceman. Much love, and thank you for being a channel member. Good night. Good night. Take care, everybody. It's been great seeing you guys. Yes, there are a lot of great streams out there, Mopix. You're so funny. And yes, indeed. Vielen Comrade Sammy. Yeah, exactly. Bancroft is awesome. Check him out. May we meet again, indeed. Way to bury the lead. You guys are cracking me up. All right, guys. Enjoy seeing your name in the credits if you're a channel member. And everybody else, have a wonderful night. Take care, and God bless you guys.